Hi, I'm Judy Ashley, Walton County Extension Coordinator. It hasn't been long ago that we were hearing, boy, am I ready for spring? Well, with beautiful spring, we've got the nuisance of pollen. This is a common picture right now. And if you're an asthmatic or have asthmatic children or you have allergies, you have to take some special precautions at this time of year to prevent problems. So pollen, just to kind of go into a little bit about what pollen is, it is actually the male part of a plant's life. And the blanket of yellow dust that you're seeing in our area is primarily consisting of pine pollen. And pine pollen actually is getting an unfair rap because even though we see a lot of pine pollen, there are invisible pollens from grasses and other trees that are pollinating right now that are actually causing the majority of allergic reactions that people have. Pine pollen is more prominent and, as I said, getting blamed for the allergic reactions primarily because we can see it. So what can we do to kind of prevent some of these problems? Well, probably the most undesirable is just to stay inside. Well, that's no fun. But if you're severely asthmatic or severely allergic to pollens, that may be your only recourse. You can also keep your windows and doors closed. Of course, you're going to have to go in and out of those doors when you have to leave the home, but keeping windows closed is going to reduce the amount of pollen and contaminants in your home greatly. While you're inside, you might as well do some cleaning. You can continuously or maybe just frequently wipe down countertops and mop floors, and that will take up a lot of the pollen that you can actually transfer from those counters on your hands or feet or on the floor into your respiratory system. So frequent wiping down of surfaces helps. But probably the most effective, we have a publication on this as a matter of fact here at Extension, is just to leave it at the door. What do I mean by that? Well, basically it's just using a system of floor mats or door mats at the door entrances, and not just one but multiple door mats so that you can reduce the contaminants so they won't enter your home. Right here in this publication, it talks about what's in the dust in your home, and it states that 30 to 40% of the contaminants inside your home are brought in from outdoors. Okay, so of that 30 and 40 to 40%, the first 4 steps that you take inside your house bring in close to 85% of the outdoor contaminants found inside your home. So it says by taking a few simple steps, by using the doormats, you can improve the health of your home and reduce the time spent cleaning. So it is also important to remember these doormats need to be cleaned frequently as well. So let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of the pollen. This is where the pollen comes from. It's on the male pine cone, and the male pine cones, if you look up at a pine tree, are usually seen dangling on the lower branches of that. As the warm temperatures increase, then these little pine pockets will expand and release the pollen. The wind will take them up and they will go in search of female pine cones. And the anatomy of the pine pollen fragment itself, if you look at it under a microscope, is perfect for it as the wind takes it to settle into that female pine cone and serving its purpose from there on. So I spoke of the warm weather being a requirement. The U.S. Forestry Service says that it takes a certain number of day heat units above 55 degrees that happen after February 1st in order for this whole process to occur. And so this year, those number of day heat units did not happen until a little bit later on in the season. And so you're probably wondering, well, when are we going to have peak pollen season? We haven't hit it yet because those 55-degree days, cumulative days, were not reached as early as in the past. It typically hits early April, but this year it's going to be closer to mid or late April that we have our peak season. So unfortunately, we're not there yet. So the weather warms up, the pine cones open, the wind takes them up and they settle into the female pine cones, and life goes on. So it's, like I said earlier, a necessary nuisance. So whereas the pine pollen days that we have in Georgia, so I guess we're just going to have to stock up on eye drops, Kleenex, allergy medicines, and bear with it maybe just a few more days or possibly a couple more weeks here in Georgia with the pine pollen and other pollens. And bless you and have a good day.